Greetings. Welcome to Channel 6. I'm your host and it's hike time. I gigged up in the yard because I was getting set up and I saw a groundhog out here. And I thought we might see some of them out. The field's been cut recently, so they go out here. I want to check and make sure I'm actually alive. Twitch say I'm alive. It does have the dreaded 0 viewer thing. Let's see, replication. Of the dreaded 0 viewer thing. Looks live. Let's see, replication. So I'm gonna say we're good. I'll bring up the chat and I'll get moving. It still says hosting. Why does it say hosting? I'm gonna check this before I bunk off. I'm gonna bring up Twitch and go in my own chat. I figured out how to do this. If you go to chat and you do an uptime, it'll tell me if I'm not live, and the cat found me. It's in uppercase, but I don't think that'll matter. I got the bang and I got the uptime. I'm live. Okay, cool. Alright, looks good. Got the chat. We're off. Hopefully we'll see some animal activity since I brought this up. I left the house at 10:41 today. I'm getting better. As it gets hotter, it's my goal to leave earlier. We got a catty cam. I'm gonna say goodbye to the catty before I leave. She's so sweet. She was there. Oh, it's the stuff I'm carrying. The box made a noise. I don't know how much catty cam we got. I can't see it. Okay, we're off. Since I'm already... Oh, there's a groundhog down there. I see him. I see a groundhog. I don't know if you can see him. He's headed that way. He's right there. He's gonna run. He's already in his hole. Yeah, once the field's cut, they come out all the time. I can go this way now in deference to my neighbors. Once the field is cut. Hey. Yep. Woof woof. Woof woof. Yeah. There's a whole ton of them. Bark it. Bark me off. Well, that's okay. Oh, I didn't check the charging. Yep, it's nice. This is what I do all winter. They cut the field in October, November, and it stays clear. And I got a secret little entry here. I've been trying to not use this so it's not all beaten down and obvious, because the deer use it. And they look like a deer laid down right here. There are people that like to drive machinery on deer paths to clear them. And I don't want them doing that through berry patches. So we try to be as unobtrusive as possible. And I decided somebody's coming by for the 4th tomorrow. So I've decided to leave this nearby berry patch on the off chance that he wants to come picking with me. One of Mom's friends. They haven't been over together in a long time, I don't think. And I'm thinking that there may be a slight possibility I'm all ready to go. I don't really have to do much, but I want to take a little check here before we head out into the hot sun. And I noticed I don't have a bucket lid. Stream Elements bring me live. Yep, I'm live. We'll call that good. Let's go look for my bucket lid. It must have fallen off here. I don't think I lost it in the field. I'm not going back that far for it. Of course, every morning I get up. I'm already been up an hour and a half, and I woke up 5 minutes early today. And I think that we might just not have a lid. I think that, and I'm going to have to go back the same way and look for it now. I might have lost it in the yard. I think that I'm going to look out. You can look down at the ground. I don't see it in the field. I guess I left it in the yard. Well, and there's no lid. But I got up early. The cat was there. I pet her. I did my boy's normal thing. I spent a minimal amount of time on the stream system hosting somebody and checking into things. Minimal amount of Discord stuff. I posted a couple of announcements for this. And just get down here and get rolling. I had to pick up some sticks. That happens occasionally. Mom can't bend over so well anymore. People get clobbered by this old age thing. I might have different opinions about that. I'm waiting to see what my flesh does as it ages. Being that I still run 5 miles. I run 56 minutes every other day, minimum. So I want to see how it goes before I make any kind of statement. But this is probably my quickest takeoff yet. Oh, I see some berries right here. We're going to grab a couple of easy breakfast berries. I see some to pick over here. The thing is, first berries I can't even tell what I'm looking at. First berries of the day. If I leave them, the animals will come in and get them. The other patch I was picking the last 2 picking days, deer went into and bashed down some of the patch and took a bunch of the berries. And once they smash it down, we might see some up on top of the hill. Once they do that, it's hard to pick in there because you can't get through it. They just flatten it out. And the thing is, I haven't been up here now. This is the 6th day. 3 pickings back. 2 pickings at the other site. It's a really big area, so I can pick it for 2 days. And I'm not stopping at any of the little side patches. I'm bumped straight up the hill. But 2 pickings there. I got vines that clobbering my path. And I haven't been up here, and the last time there's a part of this, I didn't even get to pick a part of it. So we'll see what's happened as I get up here. But this is my fastest start yet. And it still feels like against my ideal wanting to walk out of the yard at 10:30, and I know it's already 11. I don't even have to look, because when I was setting up the rig it was 10:50. I went back to get one of my Bluetooths. My good brand new Bluetooth earplug things are dead. I took them with me last time. I don't know what happened to them. Maybe the heat. Can't say for sure. At least I got my paths well healed. It's always nice to have a well healed path. I don't know what you can see of it with it bouncing around, but there's a good channel. The weeds aren't too heavy yet. I got a good place to walk. When you go off the trail, it's thick, it's hard to move. It's like trying to move through the field when it's not cut. And these vines start growing everywhere from the roots and from the seeds. And it's just so difficult. And one of the things this year, I take a break after picking because I get worn out. I don't go on these paths for a couple of weeks. And they get clobbered, so one goal, once a week, go on the paths, as many of them as I can. Twice a week if I can manage it, but at least once a week, because I don't think one trip is going to do all my paths. So once, twice a week, come out here and it already looks like I have to, oh, there's some berries over there I didn't know about. It already looks like I have to find either try to convince these berries to stay off the path or make a new path through this area. I have a path that comes up around this arc over here. There's a little trail going that way that avoids this patch. And I haven't been using it because somebody blazed a new path. But it is indeed time to think of. And these berry vines, some of them to get clobbered, they got 2 berries, 3 berries over here. The ones that got clobbered aren't making anything. But as this stuff grows, it's going to cover my path. And it's the raspberries, so I want it to grow. See, this stuff got knocked down to the ground, but I don't see any ripe berries yet. So, this is thicker. The patch is expanding, and I want it to do that. Because last year, on the way up the hill, I could actually pick a container there. And that's pretty good, that I can pick a container on the way up the hill. Little stopping area, there's shade right there. I'm going to have to think to cutting down the burdock pretty soon before they start making burrs when they're directly on my trail, because Mom will yell about those. They get in and they get in the house and then they get all over the place because they'll stick to things, clothing and furniture. They're slightly annoying. So I haven't been here in 5 days. I come out every other day and pick. And I'm curious to see what the deer have done. I've never seen evidence of another human besides me in one of my patches. I say my patches, but I indeed share them. There's a vine over here I'm checking, just a short stop. It's growing up some new for next year. It's not doing as good as in past years. Of course, you can see where it got knocked down under these weeds. And getting it back out, especially once I realize and it starts growing. And finding these when it's down in here is hard. There's 2 or 3 on here. Getting it back out is challenging. There's another one. At this point, I'm well seasoned to the picking. So it's just like second nature at this point. And today's going to be more of the same, just pick, pick, pick. I can already feel the heat beaming up. It's warmer, maybe not 2 days ago, but last week it's definitely warmer than that. It's July now, so it heats up a little bit. And of course I'm wearing this filming rig. This is a little extra bit. And I'm carrying a bucket instead of a bag, and it's full of, because I have a bucket now, I can just put stuff in it. It's convenient. It's nice to set on. I've got my usual materials. I'm going to pick probably for a couple hours and take a break. breakfast is taking a back seat. See, I eat a late breakfast if I eat one, because I don't want to eat before I ran. When I got into boot camp in the Navy, we were the fortunate ones. We got up early and went running first, and then went and ate breakfast. Because some people would eat breakfast and go run and throw up. And I'm like, oh, I'm glad we run first. We had to get up earlier. So I have the habit that I don't eat before I run, even now. I might eat a little bit of berries. And I probably could eat before I run. I'm just thinking about how I'm going to do this, where I could hang the camera. I think I'm going to pick for a little bit with the camera on. I don't think it'll be overheating yet. And I've got the cooler pack. This is what I came up with, hiker. If you watch this, I hang this in the back of the camera. I swing it around and I give it the front cam. And right now it's actually smushed in with my watermelon and cold water. And I already feel like I could almost do some cold water. I only see bots unless I see a mod thing. I can't read it without the glasses. I'm not going to worry about them right now. I'm just going to pick some berries. See what the animals did up here. I got my usual accoutrements. Actually, I'm going to have some water. I'm pretty warmed up already just from the hike. I'm trying to see what time it is. I can't tell. Looks like it's just after 11. I'm checking the battery. It's charging. We're at 98%. We're good. Okay, let's pick. And I see down at my feet baby, oh, maybe not baby raspberries. The raspberries that got flattened are still trying to grow. And I'm looking around now and I don't see a lot of fresh berries. I know humans don't come in here, so the animals might have got a bunch. And we're going to start in this area and see what there is. They hit a peak, and it's possible the animals ate some. They hit a peak, and then it starts to slide downhill and they're done. And I know, I've watched my videos now, I know mostly what you see is me leaning into this wall of leaves in front of me. Occasionally you see my hands go out or something interesting. It's my hope that a groundhog or a deer graces us during one of the picks, like I've seen in the past. So, because that's one of the amazing and wonderful things when they show up. And I do maintenance as I go, since I'm right here, because this stuff, once this stuff gets out of hand, it's hard to get to heal. This stuff is wild and it grows like crazy. And I've already cut off these blackberries and they're still coming up. I don't know if this is what a blackberry does. You cut it and it just makes more and more and more and spreads out. I gotta be careful, it's in the raspberries. I got some berries here to pick. Mom's making pie with these, so she'll probably use 3 containers for pies. I'm hoping to get about 6 containers today. Although I gotta say, where I'm at, it's looking sparse. But the thicker part's over on the other side. And I can get into everything now. That's the thing every morning, especially in the beginning, except for that middle patch. I start picking, and if I start picking on the outer areas of that patch, or I start picking some areas here, it goes so slow. And it just seems like I'm not getting anything. And then at the end of the day, I always have more than 4 containers usually in the mid-season. Now, I didn't pick over there, so I think we're going to go over there to start. I'm looking at this. I picked this out, and it's sort of making me wonder that it's been 2 pickings in another area, and there's not a lot showing up ripe here. And I can't tell between me having picked them and the animals coming in and eating them. I just know that there's empty, let's see if I can get this. This is an empty pod that's been picked out right here. That's an empty pod that's been picked out. I know if I want you to see something, I have to pause for more than a few seconds because I've been watching the video and it flicks in and out of the camera. If I really wanted to do it up, when I'd have stopped at the bottom of the hill and picked there and cleaned that area out and not eaten too many of them on the way up. But I figured this is the juicier picking spot, so we'll see how it goes. Now, I set up bots to shout out people that raid me while I'm out here because I don't know if the human mods, I got a couple human mods now, but I don't know if they're going to be on. And it hasn't repeated itself. Maybe people don't want to raid a berry picking stream. Maybe Hiker can bark it out for me. Hey, Roy, streaming berries, let's go. Because I know he wants to see it, but he can come by. He'll come by and visit, I think, since I announced it. I've been diligent following people back on Twitch and getting people to follow me there, but I haven't done that with the Discord because it's kind of challenging to keep up with Discord. It's kind of a challenging thing to keep up with, and I realized I've been watching all these people sign up to the Purple Zone, and there's people I know that I should be like, hey, sign up to my Discord too. It's where I announce all my cool stuff, and I put materials, images from the Quake map editing and my kitties and stuff, and some people know about it. But the Discords where everything is announced is going a little slower than the Twitch. I see the Twitch live announcements sometimes, but they're not as pesky as the Discord. And because I have the Discord, I don't think I have them turned on my phone. Because there's already enough pesky stuff on the phone. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with the junk messages that come in. And the deer laid down, I don't know if you can see it, but over here, I can see where it looks like deer laid down. They went in there and made a little bed. We got to go in there too. So we might go around that way after I pick this. I'm going to pick this little edge. I'm going to go around and pick this so it's done. Stepping into the bush is one of the most challenging things because there's little baby raspberries growing down there that you don't want to smush. And you finally learn to look down, and there can be holes and stuff. The groundhogs have some holes right in here where I'm standing. And somebody's out cutting things, it sounds like, or running something. Sounds like it might be a saw. Doesn't sound like any chainsaw I've ever heard, though, but things sound like this different things. They got a ranch, little mini ranch. I say a ranch, they have 3 goats and a horse. That's kind of a ranch, small scale. Like I'm going to have bees and I get a beehive, I'm going to have 1 beehive. Unless I catch more swarms and keep them. And I'll have to get hives for them. Of course, if I could find some used hives, because the new ones, they're a little on the pricey side, but if I can get some used ones, maybe from a beekeeper closing down, just set them there. A lot of times a swarm will go into, oh, my nose already. A swarm will go into an old hive that's empty just from the associated pheromonal stuff. The bees have been there and it's familiar. So I think if I had an empty or two, in the springtime I might even be able to get a wild swarm. Sometimes they show up in the yard. Not too much these years, but looked up, we had some in the maple tree 2 decades back. Mom had it topped and they took the bees out. And I'm like, no, you should have left the bees. They didn't want to, the topper guys didn't want to deal with them. And I'd have been like, fine, you let me go up there, I'll top it myself, I'll deal with the bees because I'd rather have the bees. And I'm an adventurous kind of guy and not really put off by doing things like that, as scary as it might be. Which I kind of think some people are sort of afraid to come out here, and with good reason. There's poisonous snakes, there's poison ivy. And if you're not familiar with this stuff, you don't know what's what. You don't know the lay of the land, the law of the land. Mother Nature out in her own has got slightly different requirements that you adhere to. And I realized a couple pickings back, I make this look easy, and I was out in the heat, and it's like, oh wow, I got back, I told hiker, it feels like it might be 80. I got back, it was 86. It was pretty hot, and I realized it's not that easy. This is actually fairly challenging, and I would encourage you to do it, but take baby steps. Go in easy, don't go full tilt like I do, because I built up to it myself. I just built up to it when I was a lot younger. And when I came back, even when I went whole hog with it, I'd still go out on an hour or two hike to start. I hadn't had my running settled, so one day a week instead of running, I was hiking 2 or 3 hours. And I think starting, I only went out for maybe an hour, till I built back up. But I kind of do that instinctively. I build up to the harder effort. Like today, I could probably easy, even in the heat, pick 5 hours, but this is my 6th picking of the long full scale. I don't count the little blips before the main run, before I pick an entire container, because I picked berries about 3 or 4 times before that, but it might have been 1 or 2 or 10 or 20. I think I picked a handful at one point. So there was really a week of berry picking before I even got into the picking multiple containers, and I don't count that. There's some berries down over here. I think we're going to go around and go up the other side. I'm going to put my bucket over here, get some water, and check the camera and see if it looks like it's overheating already. Looks like it's doing okay right now. It'd be nice, since it could overheat, if they gave you a temperature indicator. It'd be nice to have the bucket lid. It keeps the bucket cooler, but I'll leave it here in the shade. After I pick that other side. Not many yet. I'll see about hanging the camera in the shade. I'm putting the cooler pack on it. I'm not really sure how I'm going to jig the cooler pack to it in the rig. Hanging in the tree, it's pretty easy. I can just hang it with it. I'm rethinking that now because the phone's really warm already. Well, I don't have my glasses with me. I should have those in case there's a raid or something. I can actually welcome people. And I can tell what time it is. 11:22. Well, I got off to a pretty quick start. I'm running about my normal pace, which is okay. I figure if it gets down to being really hot, I want to go back about 2, maybe. I could always flip the camera around. Of course, then I don't have chat. I've got to take this off, because if I flip the camera around, I can just put the thing right there. I can just go like this and just turn you around. Like this. And I don't know if you can actually, I flipped it. I don't know if you can actually minimize the thing. The screen. If you can screen save it. But this way, I hit the button. I don't want that. Cancel. You also got to watch these buttons on the side. And I know this is a little messy, but I want to make sure you're seeing right. I'm the right camera. Because I filmed an entire hike one time with my old rig. My kind of MacGyvered rig. Instead of this professional rig. I filmed an entire hike. And I had the camera got flipped around to the rig, and the whole thing was filmed with the camera pointed at the rig, and it's like, oh man, what a trip. And it's like useless. So we got the camera cooled, we got me cooled. I can't really tell very much except that you're pointed out. I'm going to actually have to take it off of this to look at the chat. So, if you show up and give me a follow, oh, I just realized that I don't have sounds on, so I won't hear anything. I don't have sounds on the phone. I turn it off when I film at night just in case. Just in case. And I've got sounds off. And I can't get it to come down. There it is. Okay, now if you come in with a raid and all that, I'll hear you. It's kind of challenging setting all this up. Hiker told me I tried to do a hike and couldn't get it to work, and he had the same problem I had on the first. He had the same problem I had. See, that's the thing. Once I'm here, I can't see what state it's in. Looks good. I couldn't get it to come up, and I thought maybe it was my cell phone provider, because I just changed my plan, so I had unlimited data to do this, and I don't know if they throttle or anything. But there was something wrong with Twitch, and it wasn't coming up for mobile users, maybe? Or something? Okay, so we're going to leave the stick in the bucket here and go around. There's some picking over here. Maybe, I hope I haven't muted the mic. That button can be bumped. I had it in chat. And I kind of feel like checking, and it's so hard to check. Let me, I don't have my rig on correctly. Let me do that. If I can avoid knocking my hat off. I can hear the thing now. I can actually check to see. Orientations. It looks like the mic button is hot. Like I said, I have no sure way of knowing unless I go over to Twitch. Okay, the mic's hot, I'm sure. I'm putting it in chat mode so I don't accidentally hit the mic button. Let's get the plug in the phone here. It didn't make noise. Oh, I see it charging. I say it didn't make noise. I might have it on silent. We're going to pick the outside other edge of this patch. I don't know how many berries I'm going to get on it. Doing it. If I get enough, I've got to do an accounting of my frozen berries, because I still have berries from last year, and I don't know how many. Mom repacks the freezer from where I have them set, and she moves them and hides them down under other things. So I don't really know how many berries I have in stores. In the past, I always tried to collect like a ton. Like I'd try to pick 50 containers, one for each week, and I actually did it one year. I wasn't doing this, and I was like really zealous. And I picked 77, and I think I froze about 56, 58 of them, because I ate a lot of them. Because I'll eat a lot. And I still probably have berries. Well, I have berries from last season. I try to eat through the season before's berries. Last season, I don't think I picked 50 containers, and Mom still made pies. And I got to see how many frozen packs there are. I got to see how much I got. Some of these didn't either get as much sunlight or as much water or something, and they're kind of scrawny. And that's one thing, like I might pick a lot of berries, but if they're these small ones, they still taste good. If they're these small ones, they don't fill up the containers as quick. And I might have the biggest bulk of the big juicy ones down in the other pack. I won't know until I get back down there and pick again, but I think right about now is pretty much the peak of the season. So, Mom picks, she makes pies this time. If it is the peak of the season, I'll pick enough next time to get me to the eating. The deer went in here. Are there any berries over there? They're tricky little creatures. I'll get me enough to eat, and I'll try to do, going out once the season peaks, I try to get 4 or 5 containers. Coming in, I can easily get 8, but it seems like every year I slow down a little bit from the years before. 2 years ago, I think 2017, I went bonkers one day, stayed out for 7 hours, and I say bonkers, but just really went zealous. I stayed out for 7 hours and picked 16 containers. No, wait, that wasn't the 7 hours. The 7 hours was only like 10 containers. I had like a 6-hour day or a 5.5-hour day, and I had 10 containers up here. Coming up the hill, a container, 9 containers up here. It rained really hard. And then I had 6 containers down in the big part. I hiked over there. I really did it up. And there was a vine over here, and I'm looking for it, and all I see is blackberries. But I really did it up, and I had 16, mostly 3/4 full containers. Maybe slightly more. But that was my biggest haul, was 16 containers. And last year I think I did 12 one day. This year my biggest has been 8. It might have only been 10. Most days I do 6 to 8. And one reason to come over here is it's kind of shady in this area. I got to look around for the berries to pick. This area hasn't had a lot of berries in the past. In fact, I don't think it's had any. But they've been spreading now. They don't grow as good in the shade. I know you won't be able to tell from the video, but I can tell. These plants here in the shade produce half the berries or less. They do produce berries though, so you pick them where you find them is my basic rule. You can't go pick raspberries where they don't grow. I mean, it seems like kind of a silly thing to say, but some of the best wisdom is actually like that. Seems like simplified, silly stuff, but we're a young species. We're young beings. Is that a worm? We're a young family. I'm not talking about how long we live as humans. I'm talking about our spiritual state. Spiritually, we're very young. And we haven't come into the fullness of our abilities or what we're destined for, especially as humans. Human is extremely challenging because you're fighting your body, its urges, your own ideals. And before a year and a half ago, I had a lot of personal rules that I really clogged myself up with. I was thinking about this last night doing Quake editing. That in the past, I've sat down to work on my mods and my maps so many times and just not gotten past the clog of one thing, wanting it to be as good as possible, even though it's just a hobby. And I'm not a professional game developer, because professional game developers blast through this stuff and do it as quick as they can. And I was thinking about how I used to work on my maps, and I would spend double, triple the time just fiddling with little details out of my own obstinance for doing it as up to my high standards. And it actually slowed me down finishing the mod. The Chaos mod was an idea in my head in the late 90s, like 98. I had notes somewhere that got lost. And I really started pounding on it in 2003, and I've been working on it off and on ever since for 17 years. It's still not done. The core gameplay is kind of set. The map spec is there. But there's a lot to do. Because that's one thing, is I kept adding features to things. I kept adding weapon sets and stuff. And things like that just slowed me down. And I'm finally getting down to actually, now that I've got some more proper motivation and I've gotten away from my own clog of personal rules and little foibles, I'm actually coming down to getting it done. It's like, wow, this should have been something I had done back in like 2005 or 2006 if I had full time on it, or maybe 2010. And I just clogged myself and slowed myself down. And then I had some things happen, and God helped me out. And I got past that. And now I'm actually sitting here cranking on it. And it's pretty cool. And during the time of the year when usually all I do is berry picking, because berry picking's kind of uber challenging. It's a physical effort. It takes a lot of energy. Sometimes I'm exploring whole new areas because the berries don't always grow. The patches don't produce the same way in the same place every time. I've been watching this patch change for 5 years now, and it still surprises me. And I've realized I've got into an area that I might not have passage through. I used to. But I think berry patch has clogged my passage. I gotta see. I used to have a way through here. The interesting thing is the old berry vines are basically dead, but I don't want to tear up their roots or stomp on the new ones. So this doesn't have hardly any berries on it. And it looks like it roots over there. If it actually, no, it doesn't. Okay, we can pull this out because it didn't root. Because the old vine's going to die. They start dying in August. If I come out in August, I'll see dead berry vines and be like, oh, already? They turn brown and the leaves fall off. Not the blackberries, but the raspberries. Blackberries will persist into October and November when it freezes. But the raspberries, they start dying out. By September, a lot of the patch will be dead. It's just the way they go. I have snuck through, my friends. If you showed up for berry picking, you're lurking, thank you. I've got the phone announcing system on now, so hopefully it doesn't drop out. I don't hit any weird buttons. And it's actually streaming. When I take my break, I'll check up on that. I like to check up on Twitch because I don't trust it. I don't trust it to give me the right score. Sometimes I don't think the lurker count's correct. Because I have like a chat that gives me a list. I've got the dashboard open, or not the dashboard, the stream manager open. I've got another thing open from OBS Live. And they won't match. They'll all three be different sometimes. Sometimes two of them will agree. So it's like, what's the real count? Only Twitch knows that. I've already noticed a little monkey business on the average where you have to get an average of 3 viewers, and I'm thinking, if you had 3, junk accounts on your first stream, you'd have an average of 3 viewers. So why even count that? That doesn't make any sense. And this used to be a place I had access to, and these trees died. I haven't been over here yet. I just realized, I'm in a part of the patch up the hill where the patch is growing, and I haven't been up here. And it's like, oh, cool. Maybe there'll be a lot to pick, because so far I don't have a container. And I've been doing this for a bit. It's always not so heartening when you've been on an hour. And what pulled the vine down? There's little vines everywhere that mess things up. You haven't been on an hour, and you don't have a lot picked. And you see, oh, there's berries there. Well, there's not a lot of berries here. The animals have eaten some of these because I haven't been over here. I see empty pods where the animals ate them. See, where you don't come and pick, the animals are going to come and get them. But you keep going, you keep picking. You take heart for the good thing that at the end of the day you'll have a few containers in it. Today might just be enough containers for me to eat and for pies. It might just be like 4 containers. As I'm picking them, I get my container, and then the rest are for the pies. When I came up the hill last time, 6 days ago, I was pretty sure I had a few more pick days because there was a lot of ripe berries, but I kind of going around this outside. I haven't come to that area yet. See, I knew where I saw all the berries. There's a good bit here, but it's just a little area. But I know where the major portion of the patch was, and I'm going to get over there after I'm done picking this side. I probably could have started there, but it doesn't matter that much. And I'm looking around now, and it's like, now where do I go? All this fell over here. You used to be able to just go through here, and it's clobbered now, and I'm stepping on a tree that fell over. Its roots got pulled up a little bit. I'm going to have to go around that way, I think. I hear a bitchy bird. We get bitchy birds out here. I don't know if it's me it's complaining about. In the yard, I'll be sitting on the bench. Everything will be great. The cat will come over, and squirrels and stuff will start chittering like crazy because they see the cat. I'm sitting there. They don't care. Technically, humans are predators, but once they get used to you in your backyard and you don't mess with them, they don't care so much. But the cat, their instincts say the cat's dangerous. And the cat is dangerous. And if they can get a chipmunk or a squirrel, they'll do it. Yeah, this area has expanded a good bit, but I'm not getting terribly a large amount. Some of them have been eaten. Still, it's worth it to come over here and pick just to see what there is. Oh wow, I'm actually using a pokeweed to avoid falling into the patch. And then by now I know that you've got to look around. If you just pick the ones you see when you first step into an area, you're missing stuff. So I'm going to come up around the top here. I haven't been through here in a while because these trees fell over and clobbered the area. And I'm stepping through the fallen trees. When you do that, you want to step carefully because it's easy to catch your foot on something, and you'll discover that your own bones can't easily take the full weight of your own body if they're outside of their operating parameters. And they're easy to break. This used to be a accessible path. I'm seeing if I can sneak through here. I'll get the biter plants out of the way. I'm going to try lifting this vine up. As the vine don't lift, I don't have my saw or my heavy loppers. The dead vine, so it's no problem. Sometimes when the trees fall down, the vines die too. I can tell it's dead because it's old and crusty and didn't drip water. The fresh grape vines will have green and they'll drip water. Wow. So I've come out, I picked up here 5 days ago, 6 days ago. I guess it's the 6th day. I picked on the 27th here, 29th and the 1st. I'm thinking today is the 3rd. Yeah, it has to be because Saturday's the 4th. So the 27th was the last day I was here. And I picked around this side. Well, I think what we'll do is go back down through, take the break, and then I'll go up into the juicy area where I know there's a lot of berries. I'm hoping that this cooler pack's working on the phone, not making it wet, and allowing it to stay cool and operate. And then down on the other side, I'll hang it in the tree. I got my Bluetooth so I can talk as I go around, because you can't always see me. I move around a bit. And I'll find out if I'm truly still live, because if it gets knocked off now, I won't have any indication. It'd be nice to have sure audio indicators when you're doing something like this, but something tells me the applications weren't gigged for something like this. Just this idea from talking to Hiker, thinking that this is a unique thing that not too many people have tried, and the people that you probably have seen do something similar have a professional film crew, more professional transmitting equipment. They do it with cell phones, but they got more expensive equipment than I do, more resources, more people with them. I'm just like that. Who's the guy? Not Bear Grylls. He has the other guy that goes out by himself and has his own. I'm that guy. I just realized. I can't even remember because I don't watch TV. I'm that guy. I'm the guy that goes out by himself with a camera, no crew, on his own into the wild and films stuff. Except I'm just picking berries. I'm going to do some exploring up in the mountains. I'll stream it. I'm going to go up there and hike around this summer. So this over here, I'll be coming up that way. But I'm going to clear this top since I'm up here, and then I can just go through down there. This has actually been a pretty good area the last 3 or 4 years. 5 years ago, there was hardly anything up here. There was a big blackberry patch, and as it died out, probably from the shade, these raspberries kicked up. And then 3 years ago, they just exploded everywhere. It was like, oh wow, there's a lot of berries up here, but there weren't that many. Of course, I'm getting the feeling that I've already hit peak. And when I was here 3 days ago, it was just starting, but it's starting to look like it's already been half picked. I won't know for sure until I see the other area. But I don't see a lot of berries up here. I might have to go back down to the middle. There's some patches I actually haven't been to, because these two patches up the hill and the big middle area tend to dominate the picking once it peaks. And the little patches, they just don't provide that much. So I don't get out to them as often. It's like a kind of thing, well, it's harder to go to, they're further away. And they don't provide as many berries, but I can't say anything until I hit the juicy spot after the break. Then I'll know how many berries I'm going to pick, and so on and so forth. If you've joined the channel and you're just wondering what's going on, I'm your host, nominally 6 numerically. I deny that though. I'm a free man, not a number. Of course, in the idiom of the Prisoner TV show, you can look that up. But I'm out picking berries, which is what I do part of the year. And I talk to some people. Hiker Nonsense is a great streamer. He's usually exploring Minecraft worlds, but he also goes hiking. And he's got the idea now to do the same thing, which is cool. And I sort of got the idea of communicating with him. It'd be pretty cool to stream this. I knew it would be more challenging from years of berry picking, that I'm going to have the equipment with me. It's going to have to work right. And I'm going through areas that are somewhat challenging to navigate at times. Wintertime is like the easy. If you could pick berries in the wintertime, that'd be like a dream, because you could just come in, it'd be cold, but you can see everything and get into everything. And the berries come up in the summer, there's bugs, there's heat. Although there's a nice cool breeze right now. I get these cool breezes, and it's like, oh, it'll remind me of like ice cream or a Slurpee. And it's like, oh yeah, that's a nice cool breeze, thanks God. Because I could use it and get hot. But I thought I would try it out, and I think I streamed, let's see, last Saturday I don't stream. I berry picked last Saturday, so I didn't stream it. And on the first I tried to stream it, but I couldn't get connected. So I think this is the third full streaming. I streamed a hike as sort of a test bed. I streamed one of my hikes. So I kind of slowly built up to even doing this, bringing the equipment out. I filmed first. I filmed a few hikes with my MacGyvered rig. And that's kind of how I figured out that I dropped a berry. It can grow a new plant. That's kind of how I figured out it wouldn't be adequate. I took it on the first berry picking. Wait, did I? No, I had this. Just taking on a hike, I knew that I would have problems with it. When I took it on the hike and the camera got switched to the back camera, and it just filmed the rig the whole hike. I had another hike I was filming, and when I put the camera in the rig, I turned it off. And I had a great hike, and I narrated it all, and got nothing. And it's like, oh man, at the end I was like, the camera was off. So I turned it on and filmed the hike back, and that's actually up on YouTube, I think. If you're listening and the bots haven't done it, you put in !advise, you'll get all my sites, and YouTube is the first one. And I got all my good exploits up there. Well, I say good, I've got the most bearable, I think, of my exploits, at least the easiest for me to put up with. Because I don't have great ideas about what people will enjoy. I never thought I would actually watch people play video games because I'd rather play myself, until I started interacting with chats on Twitch. I had a friend I watched. I signed up for Twitch 4 years ago to watch Mark Bussler of Classic Game Room play his stuff. He tried Twitch out, and he didn't stick with it. So I didn't stick with it because I was following him on Patreon at that point. He moved off from YouTube. I found him on YouTube first. I started 9 years ago with Angry Video Game Nerd. I discovered it in 2011. And that was he was approaching the height of his popularity at that point. And I came across like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. He plays Atari games. That was my lead-in, was my favorite Atari games. And some stuff he covered. If you look up his Sword Quest series, I find his Sword Quest series really awesome. That's a rewatcher for me. I'll go back and watch that. But I actually got about a container of berries now. Slow start, but once it picks up, it starts rolling sometimes. But I periodically go back and watch that. And I haven't had time for my full YouTube diet. I was watching a lot of videos, and now I'm producing content, and there isn't time. There isn't time. I have to pick and choose. I have to make some sacrifices about the content I want to watch. And a lot of times I sit down for lunch and I'm thinking, well, I'll watch that Spiffing Brit video from last night, and just end up sitting there in the chat room talking to my friends. Of course, I'm building my little streaming empire here. I've got to talk to people and kind of build up, because I sort of need that. I need the contacts to bring more people in, because I know something's going to happen. A couple of people have already come to the channel, and I know there are key people that I'm going to communicate with and find, and then maybe one day I'll host them or I'll raid them, and they'll tell somebody, and they'll come by my channel, and there's this person that's just going to be, oh wow, you do this? Well, hey, would you like to start an arcade? I'll give you the money for it. And be like, yeah, I'll live stream from my own arcade, no problem. Because I got a space picked out. I've got imaginings of it, and I've kind of got assurances that at some point it'll happen. So I'm always careful of my time to interact with various peoples on Twitch. Not only to be polite and respectful, but just to interact with the people and let them know that there's somebody that's paying attention and cares. And I see where it looks like deer have smashed down a patch. Once they flatten an area, it's hard to pick. This is the way they do it. They get the leaves all bunched together and you can't see much. But I like to keep my eyes and, well, my mind open, my mind aware of the possibility that any of these people could be the one, could be that person that introduces me to that other person, that's the person. Or maybe they like what I say and they know a guy or a girl or someone. Oh, I dropped another berry. Let's see. Sometimes I drop a berry over like a big leaf and it catches it. And then sometimes they just disappear down into the grass and the weeds and you just don't see them again. And it's better just to let them go rather than spend it. And then I would spend 5 minutes in the past just gathering dropped berries. And then I'd finally give up and not even consider that in 5 minutes I could have picked 10 more berries. And then I finally realized, like, wait a minute. The time I'm spending looking for this lost berry, I could pick a whole bunch more berries. That finally came to me. It's like, oh yeah, just pick new berries. Don't worry about the old ones. And I'm stepping through an area. I don't know how I got through here before, but I think the deer changed around the configuration a little bit. I'm stepping past the new vines. You get caught up when you step through. You get caught up on other vines and berry vines. See, this right here, they flattened this out. And it's hard to see through all these weeds now. Or weeds, these berry vines. The berry vines themselves are your hindrance. And you can see a couple berries, but I know there's more under this. Let's see, are we on? I don't even know what this is. Twitch or Stream Elements says I'm live. I had something up, I don't know what it was. Stream Elements has got me indicated live. When I take the break here, I'll check on Twitch. And I realized I've actually gotten over here. And I wanted to finish up over there. I didn't actually want to pick this side, but I'll pick this little area. And then we'll go down through where I'm going to go through next time. This is actually a blackberry. You got to be careful of the blackberries because blonde raspberries look like that too. I'm going to yeet this over here. Oh, there's a whole pokeweed forest right there. Look at them pokeweeds. That's a whole ton of them coming up. They were growing down in here somewhere, but I think they got chased out. They were pretty thick right down the hill. This whole area has changed. I've got pictures. Now I don't have to take pictures. I got the video. I got to make sure I got some good stills. But I have pictures from years past where it looked entirely different. When I first started picking here, it was just a little area. There was a time, oh, the deer really crunched that, or I did. There was a time about 5 years ago when I could come out and pick for 4.5 hours and there was nothing left to pick that I could find. Partially because I didn't know about some patches and partially because the patches weren't that big. So you got to be careful when taking out the blackberry from the raspberry that you don't tear up the new ones, because they'll catch on everything and you won't see yourself doing the damage. It's like you don't want to grab a wild grapevine and pull it out because you don't know what it's attached to. You got to carefully extract things, almost like surgically extract things, so you don't tear up next year's berries. Because this year's berries I'm still picking them, but I know they're done. I'm in the middle of the picking season, but I know it's done. In the idiom of seasons, seasonally, this season's finished. It's complete. I just haven't got to pick all the berries yet. But we're looking at next year's berries. This vine broken right here is next year's berries. This one here is next year's berries. But we got all these big ones that haven't been touched. The deer don't hit. So there's plenty of berries to pick. And just picking this is uber challenging. Once it's knocked over, it's slowing. I can feel it slowing me down a little bit because I got to look through here. and we're just going to move on. Sometimes just like we got to move on. So I'm going to go over where I was going to go through. I'm going to go through. I'm going to see if I can get through. I made a path through here, but these little new berry vines are growing up, and I might not have a path, and I'm getting caught from behind by a berry. Usually I have it so that in my picking areas there's only raspberries. There's no blackberries, so something's clawing at me. It's something I want to keep because it's a new one coming up. So I try to be careful sneaking through, squeaking through, and keeping the new raspberries good. Even when you reach down to cut things you're sure is a blackberry or a wild grapevine. In the past, I've reached to cut a wild grapevine and cut raspberries instead. Not the new ones. The new ones are easy to see, but the old ones. And I cut off one time, I cut off about 50 berries I didn't get to pick. It's like, oh man, I cut out 50 berries. Now I just try to be really careful and look and make sure I know what I'm cutting. You learn from hard experiences. If we learned from easy experiences, it would be a different world. Just imagine if you could learn the hard lessons playing video games, and I'll tell you, you can't. I know from a decades-long video game player, you don't get the hard lessons out of a video game. You might think you're learning something, but as a person having experienced many things in life, many different careers, many different ages, even of my own being, nah, man, the hard lessons don't come from video games. Hard lessons come basically from suffering. I don't think there's any polite way to put it. You want the hard lessons, you're going to have to suffer for it. And you might think there are people out there, wealthy people that, like the president that we have in the United States right now, his son probably hasn't had to do any hard things. And when some of these wealthy people's children go and do military stuff and things like that, I kind of question that. It's like, what are you doing this for? Aren't you taken care of? Don't you have an inheritance? What are you showing off for? Who are you trying to impress? But, these wealthy children of wealthy parents that they're just going to inherit, I wonder how much they progress in life as they go. How many challenging things they actually face. And I was just up here and realized there's berries I didn't pick in this area. They're hanging in this tree that are actually big juicy berries. But as I have gone through life and stubbed my feet both literally and metaphorically and bumped my head both ways and butt my own stubborn head against the wall a bunch of times before I finally learned to just do it the right way or do it the good way, I know that life is hard and requires sacrifices. And if you think people are skating through, I'm going to tell you that's not the case. Because there'll come a day when you have to answer for things. When you have to put forth your proof. And that there are expressions from the past that I kind of like. One expression is an acid test. They used to test armor with things like acid, and they would shoot when the muskets came. When they finally had gunpowder firing little projectiles, they would take a sample piece of an armor was making and shoot a musket ball at it to see if it would penetrate. Kind of a hard test to pass. And I think, the life we live is a lot like that. You're tested over and over. And I think there's a day of accountability that comes. And these people that never got tested, that never did the sacrifices, even of the human things, they're going to be found wanting. And what are they going to do? Think about what you know in life. Think about your experiences and what you've lived. Even if you're just in your 20s. When I was in my 20s, I didn't do this kind of stuff. Nobody told me to. There's all kind of things I used to think. Like when I was in college, I knew one or two guys that wanted to produce video games, that wanted to actually make and, distribute video games. And we knew nothing. We didn't know anybody. And some of my games, like I got the Sword of Fargo out of a magazine, and it never came to me, hey, send them your stuff, make something and send them your stuff. But I was still dealing with my own clog that I wanted to make stuff, and I would clog myself up. So it's the kind of thing that if someone had said to me, hey, this is how you should look into this, I probably would have, and I might not have done some of the things I did. But then I wouldn't be probably here today talking to you. I wouldn't be the person I am. I would have pursued a different route. And I might have very actually succeeded at that easily. I might have easily been successful at that, because I've had a lot of good ideas the whole time. I just haven't had something like Twitch, and years ago I didn't have something in the 80s. I didn't have something like ModDB. I didn't have a platform to tell people, hey, I make this cool stuff, and I didn't have a distribution point and a cool whole decade of built up material and images and files and stuff and experience. I didn't have any of that. It's odd sometimes to come back to a patch and just like, wow, it didn't look like this the last time I was here. It was a lot greener. There were a lot more berries up to pick. And I didn't pick them all, but I'm looking around thinking, there's a good portion of this that's already hit its peak, because the berries that are left aren't that big. They're going to go ripe. But I'm getting this feeling I picked the biggest juiciest berries in this area. And today I'm picking the pie bacon berries, and I might just get like 4 containers, and that's going to make Mom's pies. I think a 3/4 of a container makes a pie, I think. Oh, Mom makes them, so I'm not sure. And I know I'm the one that went in here and picked, and I might as well go in here and pick. It's kind of tricky to get in. I don't know who's listening or if I'm even transmitting, but I've been saying some interesting stuff. I get out picking for a while, and my brain gets cranking, and I get to the philosophy section of the picking. And I used to just talk to myself. I think that's one of the reasons I'm good at Twitch, is because I spent years talking to myself without just an audience of a couple. And now I've got whoever wants to listen to me coming in to listen to the babble. The babble and the rabble. But everybody I know, when I was young, and my wife's family that I had at the time, all young people, I think, well, I thought when I got into computers, like, oh, I'll do this, there's a lot of money, I'll be a millionaire, and I'll have all my needs met. I'll be satisfied, I'll have a nice place to live, I'll buy this woods that was flattened and has grown back up. And you look out. I don't know what you can see, but in the camera, you look out. Man, it looks like a pretty darn good woods. Not like it was, but there's a lot of big trees. And 16 years ago, in 2004, this was a field. This was flattened. So, and even if I had been, if I'd have gotten millions right out of college, making computer games, I might have done it, but I have a feeling I wouldn't have, because I was young and unfocused. It was the desire I had, but I didn't know how to fulfill it. And I think that's what happens to a lot of young people. And you think, well, I'll do this and I'll get a lot of... I missed the parrot I wanted. I'll do this and I'll make a lot of money and I'll be famous or whatever, and people will know me. And as the 90s went by, I watched id Software produce Doom, which was an awesome game, and I played it, and I read their plan files, and I idolized a bit. And I thought, oh, well, I understand code. I've programmed many tools, and I thought I could do that, and I could. And I read the stuff John Carmack wrote, and John Romero was kind of more... I just like the guy's image, and he still does cool stuff. And I think he cares about the gaming community in a way that a lot of the corporate people don't, and he always did. And they played role-playing games, and I did that. Like, I could be like that. I could be one of these guys. And in the early 90s, if I'd applied for id Software, and I'd have been willing to move to Texas, which is what stopped me, I was with my wife-to-be and she wanted to be with her family, I could have probably gone and worked for them. I know at one point Raven Software is hiring and I applied for them, but I didn't get it. And at that point I was kind of welded to Sarasota. I was working there as a computer programmer down in Florida. I know Hiker's heard of it if he's here paying attention or lurking. Yeah, I can't see the chat at all. I've got the phone turned around backwards and I've got the cooler pack on it to keep it cool because it's already hot out here. So I'm going to check the chat in a little bit and I take a break. I got a cool breeze coming up again, thanks. But when I was young, I thought if I had that money, if I had that lucre, that sweet lucre, I would be all set. I'd have a nice house and I'd get my wife everything she wanted and get her an art museum and send her art off to New York and all the famous art places. She does really good art. I don't think she has an online portal. She's an art teacher, so that's mostly what she does. She might be a general studies teacher now. I know she did that at one point. She might be back to art. In fact, I think she is. She's a really nice artist, and I've always wanted to include her material in my stuff, but life's challenging. I haven't figured out how to do it yet, but I'll get there. We're not married anymore. My own fallen nature got in the way. Ooh, I've been back in there. I can get into that. I figure I wormed my way in and I'll go back in. But I was young and I thought if I had that cash that the video gaming industry can bring, that I'd just be doing great. And I never got it. And then I woke up one day and realized not only wouldn't that have done me any good, it would have probably wrecked me. Wrecked me worse. It would have put me in a worse off spot. And at this point, if an itinerant billionaire came by and said, you know, if you'll come do this, I'll give you all this money, I'd say no. I wouldn't take your money. You can give it to a charity and I would take it and, oh, I saw a berry fall off, and do appropriate things with some of it maybe, but I wouldn't take it for my own personal wealth. I pursue the spiritual treasure now, so the material wealth, it's going to be gone one day, and it's not going to do you any good. I didn't see that in my youth when I desired such things, when I pursued such things. I thought that if I had that, I could put my games out there, and I could get that, and people would know me, and I'd have everything I wanted. Figuring out what you want, that's a challenging thing. Like right now, if I can help some of you better your lives or figure something out, or just show you all the cool things I know so that you can explore, because I'm pretty much about exploring. I have been for a long time. When I was, I think 9 or 10, I started to explore the woods close by my house, and as the decade passed until I finished high school and got into college, I explored most of this whole thing. And then by the time I was out, I knew it pretty thoroughly. I would have dreams about it. I would dream about hiking through it. And I lost. And he loses it. He loses it. But, wow, here's a whole dead berry pod. Doesn't even look like they got picked. Probably got damaged. But, you know, what I thought would satisfy me, and I thought I knew what I wanted. And years later, I finally realized that wasn't what I really wanted, and it wouldn't have done me much good to have it in the first place. And I know young people that think money will solve their problems might listen to this and think, well, now I need the money. And you only need the money in exchange for the material goods that you need. Other than that, what's it going to do for you? What's it really going to do? And look at the people that have money and ask, what do these people really have? Do they have an easy life, or are they happy? And lately we've seen people, some of them started streaming and started broadcasting, and I forget who it was, but like the shutdown happened and all their appliances like broke, and they were just having conniptions because they couldn't function. So you might think these wealthy people pay people to do stuff for them and have servants and have these fancy houses, but really stop and think what they've got. one thing that I think, if it really goes Mad Max land and these people, one guy went to New Zealand before the planes were, before the airports were shut down. He got to his bunker he paid probably millions for. He couldn't get the lock open. He couldn't open it up. He had to get tech support. It's like, what are you going to do when there isn't any tech support? It goes full Mad Max land. You're not going to be able to call somebody up on the phone. And these people, these wealthy people that have these things set up, when it's time and they call up their servants and say, hey, let's go, how many are really going to go with them? And how many are going to be concerned about their own families and their own situation? And once they're there, if they've paid humans with guns to guard them, how long until the humans with guns decide, hey, we got the power, we're taking over. We don't care who you are. You gave us the means to control the situation. And I look at the setup and it's like, this is almost inevitable. This is almost inevitable. That'll happen at some point. It's probably already happened in history where a ruler, a king, had a well-portioned army. And at some point the army just said, heck it, General, let's run the country. And you know this happens. It happens in recent history. So now the only thing is I've put off the juiciest picking for the sunny, is also the sunniest part. But that's okay. I got water here. I'm going to take my little break. I got a decent portion of berries here. I've also got a lot of leaves in there. So we're going to go over here in the shade to take the break. But to me, I look at this and it's amazing how different this looks. Between now and last year, there was a row of sumac trees over here that created shade. That was a shady spot. And this was like a completely different area. Let's go over to my usual break spot. I'll set up. I think what I'll do, somewhere in this shady area here, I'll hang my camera pointed at where I'm going to pick. Like maybe off of this tree right here. And I'll take my Bluetooth device and gig it on if it will work. So I can keep chatting with you and you can watch me do my picky thing. But I got a little spot over here I like to sit in. We'll take the break now. I'll see chat. Maybe I'll put in a quote command. It looks like the deer have used my break area too, maybe. I don't got a bucket lid to sit on. Let's see how we can do this. I've discovered unplugging the battery pack for any reason for a length of time isn't a good idea. Because the battery drains really quick, and once the phone overheats, it won't charge. So you kind of get stuck. Okay, let's see if I'm actually transmitting. Man, this gel pack, it's not cold anymore. Samsung Daily, get rid of that. Oh, something weird comes up. Samsung Daily? Stream elements. It looks like I'm still live. We got the right orientation. Let me see. The cameras have switched. I don't know how that is. I hope that you haven't had a camera of, hey, hiker. Wow. I haven't seen any of this. Hey, K-Pepper stopped by. Woohoo! Oh, wait. I have glasses somewhere that I can actually read this. Let's see what the report is. Oh, wow. There's a whole ton of chat. Psychotic. Oh, man, you all came by. Oh, how far back does it go? Wow. Oh, so it got swapped around? So let's see. I don't have the time. The hiker, K-Pepper, welcome, welcome. A black screen. I wonder if the camera got swapped. Check cam, yeah, I couldn't see the chat either. I think it got swapped around to where I had the cold pack. My bots are on it. Wow, 12-hour stream. Crikey, that's tough. 3 a.m. hiker, dang. Of course, I go to bed at around 2:30. Well, I'm just going to sleep about 2:45. Yeah, I'm reading the entire chat. Let me re-gig here. See how many berries we got. I don't think there's much more than a container and a half, but we'll have that. I gotta get the battery thing. The camera, I think a static hang is probably better for the camera when I'm doing this, because if it gets messed up like today, I had no idea. Okay, battery pack. Try not to kick that over. Get the water out. Get the honey and the snack. I got watermelon. All the usual stuff. I got my tea. A couple of containers for the berries. I'll container the berries while I'm here. There we go. The phone's in the cool area. It doesn't need the cold pack right now. The cold pack works, hiker, by the way. Let's see. You get to see this pretty green color. You're like our conscience. We're all troublemakers in our own way, Kay. Usually for ourselves. I know from my life, I've indulged in self-torment many times. Yeah, you always got to have a good stick with you, hiker. Always have a good hiking stick. Wow, this just goes on. Who's my mod? Dances. Dances Naked is my mod. And if you go into my chat and put exclamation dances, you'll find out what he put in there about himself. I have a different plan for creepy messages. I haven't had to do it yet. We'll see how it goes. So Samantha's is like one of my bots. They don't have any tolerance either. Oh, hiker, we'll get together for a hike one day. No problem at all. That day will come. At some point, in theory, I'll be down there. I think, though, it'll probably be when I'm done taking care of my mom, and I don't know when that'll be. You're in New Jersey. Yeah, you're not too far away. In fact, you're pretty close, Psychotic. You're pretty close to the AVGN crew. They're out that way somewhere. I'm not familiar with Dragoon. I've probably seen... I've seen Namek in chats. Oh, Psychotic, I've had my cat or me turn on the stream. Like, wait, why am I streaming? How long has this been going on? And I'm just like walking around the studio doing stuff. Oh yeah, it would be 80s stuff mostly. Well, I would get everything I could. That's when you see the cam. British pants, not American. Pie. All the pies are going to be good. Yeah, we already had our strawberries, and I don't think they're going to make more. Winter strawberry capital of the world, yeah. Florida's got some growing power. Yep, you figured out you were looking at the cooling pack. Hedge Wizard, welcome. I wonder how long this has been going. Thank you, Hiker, for advising on the ice. But I wonder when it switched around. Also, you did dances. Yep, there you are. I'm caught up. Thank you, Hiker. I will be down sometime. Okay, now that I've gotten through the entire chat, if some of you are still here, I'm still live. It says I'm live. Yep. Phone's cool enough. Let's see what I got over here. Right where my stick is might work. Wow, that was a lot of chat to catch up on while I was bunking along. This is the thing about being out here. It does not always like to do what you want. And you don't hurt? There. Doink. Are we good? Hey, pack is... If anything moves, the battery pack will. Let's see if I got it right. Are you looking at a black screen? That's odd. Because I see... Oh, let me go on Twitch and check it out. Because it's not the cameras. I might have to bounce this. Twitch. Says I'm live. I wonder if something got bunked. I wonder if something got bunked. Why is it black? I wonder if something got bunked. Okay. Well, I will have to restart the stream because I see camera. I got front cam and back cam. Oh, there's a mute video button. When did that get hit? Oh man. And you know, I had it in chat mode, so that didn't happen. There's a mute video button. Why? Why, Streamlabs? Let me see. Jelly Tiny, welcome. This is going to go into replication now. There we are. Let me see. Okay. So Hiker, if you want to wait, let me get into the mute chat. I had chat up. Okay. Yeah, somehow when I was checking to make sure the audio wasn't muted, the mute video button is close by. I must have hit it on the screen, or it hit it because I had the screen turned around. I think the plants themselves might be able to touch stuff. And I had the cold pack on the back. Okay. Well, this is our accounting. It's about a container. It might be 2 containers. We got me? Yep. I don't know when it's going to steady. The trees can actually be blowing in the wind. It's hanging on a tree. There. Well, let's load containers. I've got sticks. Yeah. We got 1 container. Container and a quarter. And I'm going to eat a little bit for breakfast. So I wonder how long I streamed with a blank screen. I won't know until I check my, well, I won't know until I check it. Can't get up. Are you going to stabilize? Hmm? The mute video button you don't want to hit. Tilt the camera down. It's still bouncing. And I watched the bouncing video and it looks kind of weird too. See if I can avoid knocking the tea over like I did the other day. I actually move a little bit. I'm sitting in the spot that I can't read the screen. And this thing bouncing around is kind of annoying. There we go. Like I can kind of steady it, but then I think the wind's blowing the trees. So welcome everybody. Now we have video. Well, the second half you'll get to see what you missed out on, just a bunch of leaves. Although I'm gonna hang it like this over there in the shade, pointed at my picking spot. Yeah, I'm hoping it kicks up a little bit. I'm gonna be out in the sun for the second half of the pick. I'm hoping it kicks up a bit. I hear a hawk somewhere nearby calling out. Over there somewhere. Got a really nice watermelon a couple days ago at Aldi's. Really red. Really nice red pieces. Now I'm thinking about, no matter where I pick, having places to dead hang the camera so I can keep the cooler pack on it. Because I don't think I can put the cooler pack on the front and use the back cam. The cooler pack pretty much has to be on the back. And the front cam's exposed, so are the controls. There's some berry vines back there. I'm just looking to see if I can see them. I haven't needed my honey yet today. I think I've knocked most of the pollen from the grass out of my picking areas now. Of course, I say that.
And I see the camera still wobbling. It hasn't settled yet. I'm really happy you could all come by today. Stop by for this. You were saying about learning, hiker. I'm not sure if any live streamers done something like this. I know the guys that have the TV shows do similar things, but they got a film crew, most of them. They got all the professional rigging and all the amenities, as it were. And I'm like that guy, I can't remember him now, that goes out with just him and a camera and goes out into the wild spots. And I'm thinking, I'm that guy. So it's quite an experience to try. To do. Save that one. Yeah, Survivor Man, that's it. It wouldn't come to me. I've been trying to think of it for half an hour at least. Yeah, Survivor Man. Except I'm just picking berries. But I've said it before. Life has been about survival for a long time, and it always is. We've just allowed technology and mechanization to kind of shift us away from this part of it. Being out in the, I'm bumping the camera with a weed. Being out in the wild area. And I actually think I can stabilize the camera with the wire, but I'm not moving it. Being out close to nature. And it'll quickly remind you of what survival is about as you get cuts. Oh, is that a cut? I'm making sure this isn't some kind of tick. As you get cuts on your skin. Or no, I haven't felt this yet. It's just blood, that's good. Or it's a piece of berry. I think that was actually a piece of berry, but there are cuts. But it reminds you of what it's like to have a survival mindset pretty quickly. And this is probably only about 20 acres of woods by my house. Used to be 30, but they civilized some of it and sold property along the back road. And I better be picking some berries in the second half or there won't be any berries for pies. And we kind of forget as we drive our cars around and go to our lit buildings and air conditioning that the process of survival is still going on. Now I'm not doing that. I'm sitting still. That's the wind. But the process of survival still goes on. It's just somebody else is doing a lot of the hard work. Procuring the food, the shelter. And now we have electricity and machines to do a lot of things to multiply our efforts. But nature has a way to come back real quick sometimes. I know hiker down in Florida. That hurricane season, man, those storms can wreak serious havoc. Even just the tropical storms that aren't even a category 1. Nature come back real quick and say, hey, you're forgetting a thing. This is what it's about. I'm here to remind you. And I think for some people it can be a real rude awakening when it comes in, and it can be frustrating. Because this stuff, it kind of does what it wants. Until we bulldoze it down and make a park or a parking lot. It grows the way it's grown for centuries. Just here doing its thing. And yeah, to come out and live in this, That's something. This summer I'm going to go up into the mountains. I'm going to do a little hiking, a little camping. And I got two choices. I got the state game lands around Ohio Powell. And then my friend's got property with off-road trails. So I got to decide if I'm going to camp by the Jeep on his property, which is probably not even as heavy as this, not even as jungle as this, or to just really go off into the wild. And I think the first time I'm going to take my own advice and do the easier way and get used to it and then go do the hard thing. Doggy bark. But I think at this point it's time to get back to berry picking. They aren't going to pick themselves. And I'll take my thing now, since I won't be wearing the... I'm stuck with using the rig to hold the bottle because my other strap that I had for the bottle, the neck strap, I kind of lost it. I used it at some point, I don't know what happened to it. Hey, get back in there. Coming out of the rigging bag. Well, cooler bag still got some cool, so we'll use that. Yeah, the birds definitely will, and the deer. Yeah, in the yard, the birds are a lot more voracious for the berries than they are out here. I think because there's just so much stuff out here in the yard, there's just like a little bit in a certain area. And they'll definitely eat that stuff. Okay. Well, let's see if Bluetooth will pick up. Power on. Connected. I'll finish my watermelon first. Okay. Bluetooth is in fact connected. I should now be connected with a Bluetooth mic. Can you all hear me? Stabilizing. You know, I might actually be able to stabilize a little bit with my stick.
The camera is there, or not. Because first I'm going down here to pick. Now I'm going to point it back that way. Yep, cam's working. Although the Bluetooth might disconnect on me as I go down this way, because I don't know how far it'll go out here. And it won't tell me it's disconnected either, I don't think. And I can't actually get through this BlackBerry. Some of the outside, the exterior areas where there's just like one vine, there's not a lot here to pick. And I got to go through the sticky stuff. There are some juicy berries down here, though. I'm kind of hoping the Bluetooth works out. Oh, that one bush I saw, I still can't get into. It always helps to take a look around when you get in a new area. Once they're ripe, they're easy to see. When you're looking around in the, when it's still green, you don't see as much. Sometimes you still don't see them. Although it kind of does help to have glasses on. No, nothing down here. Okay. So, it says Bluetooth is still on. Alright, let's go up to our picking area here. Figure out where I'm going to stick this. Yeah. I got to take the mobile. I will flip this around to the... Oh, no, I can't. Because I got to put the cooler pack on. Thanks, Hiker. Alright, backstream elements. And it just did something weird. Did you lose orientation? Okay, there we are. Looks right. He lost orientation. So, my picking area is back there. I am thinking I almost might be able to hang it on my stick. You might go into the weeds at some point. This will probably give you more stability. Let me see what we got. Nothing to, where I got it, there's nothing to quite lean it against. So I'm going to be right over there. And the one thing I didn't do was put the cooler pack on it. So, seems like it's pretty stable. I want to do this because I know it's going to be heating up. I can already see the screen dimming down. Oh, off the track. What? I haven't got any rubber bands that are capable right now. It goes in the other side. You got the charger? Okay, Psychotic. Well, thanks for stopping by. Yep, clear your head out. I'm trying to get something to hook my stick. How do things like this happen? I want to hook the stick down because it looks like it's going to fall over. There we go. I brought some little bits of camera rigging and it's all wrapped up in itself. I can already, just standing here, just in the edge of the shade, I can feel the heat already. Alright, let's see. How am I going to do the stick? Stick to itself. Is that how we're going to do it? Yep. Nope, I guess not. We'll just do it the old tie the rubber band in a knot. Because the rubber band just broke. But with rubber bands, they usually work. At least for a bit. The cooler bag is a bit of a challenge. It's digging the camera the way I don't want. No camera. It's got the bulk of the bag on the bottom. See, I'll be right in there. Okay. I'm guessing that my mic is still good. Stream Elements did the funny thing with the button, but it says I'm live. So I'm going to count on being live. Pointed the right way, I'm off. After I have a little bit of water. Actually, I'm going to go pick back here behind the camera. Because there's a vine back here that I found, and it's got a lot of stuff on it. Got to pick the berries where they're at. And it's got nice stuff, too. Now that I'm not reading the chat, I can take the glasses off for the time being. They're getting steamed up anyway. Kind of challenging picking back in this little wood pile I piled up, clearing out the main patch. But this vine's got some big, juicy berries on it. Sometimes if you kneel down, you can get in a little bit better than you can standing up. I was able to duck under the branches and grab all the good stuff. You can also look up through the leaves and see stuff you might have missed. Okay. Hopefully that didn't rejig the camera. Oh, now I bumped it there. Stay up like that. It won't, with this cooler pack, it doesn't want to sit the way I want it to. Nothing to poke it up with. Okay, picking berries. Or if anybody's familiar with the Monty Python Flying Circus TV show, right, Sergeant Major marching up and down the square. Because everybody else has gone off to the movies. Their commentary on the military in the 70s. Oh, lost my thing. Of course, that would be British military that they were commenting on, since the Monty Pythons. This area used to be a compact patch over here, but in the years it's spread out all over the place. And there's berries to pick all over now. Got to look in all kinds of different places. And it looks like the deer have been going through and helping me out. Or maybe it's just me. No, the deer have been in here, I can tell. They smush things down more than I do when they go to sleep at night. They make little beds wherever they're happy. And berry patches probably have the safety factor of being thick with this stuff that's hard to go through. I don't know, I know the camera's there. I might already be out of range down the hill a little bit. But I'm here picking. At least I think the camera's not muted. I didn't think to check that now, and I know there's 2 mute buttons. Of course, I probably noticed the feature when I was checking it out. It's the kind of thing that slips into the back of your mind now. The wind blew a thing in the on the big berry vines. I can test the Bluetooth, but I don't know if it'll play music on stream.
Hang up? No. Why did you hang up? There's nothing to hang up. I'm not on the phone. So I guess I just disconnected the Bluetooth. Okay, video's not muted, mic's not muted. Stream settings. Bluetooth is
hung up. Bluetooth is re-engaged. Right, video's good. According to this, the Bluetooth is now on. So we'll go back to where there's not a lot of room on the screen. Yeah, I hit it to test it and it went hung up. Not a lot of room on the screen, and it's easy to hit the wrong button. So, back to picking berries. Because I haven't got into the main thick of it yet. And I gotta say, I don't see a lot of berries here to pick. Everything wants to grab me now. So at this point, I'm looking for the berries that I didn't pick the first time that became ripe, or the stuff that I just missed that the animals didn't get. Oh, the deer made a mess in there. They laid down. That makes it harder to pick berries because everything's smashed down on the ground. I gotta see what I can get. Mom might not be making too many pies today, depending on how this goes. I'm stuck. Get stuck. Yeah, these little young ones are starting to get too long to go past. Oh, wow. Man, the deer came in and did a number. I can see their places where they laid down. And I'm not sure how much picking I'm going to get done through this. I got to go down on the ground and paw through the berries that are laid down. They just flattened it all. Wow, a good 6 or 8 foot of patch here. And I think they had a good time eating a good amount of it too. I should have come back 2 days ago. Of course, I had the other patch to pick the rest of. I try to alternate the 2 patches, but at this point, there's really more than I can pick. And it seems like whatever I leave the deer, they'll come in and eat. And then if it's nighttime, they lay down and make a little nest, and they flatten the vines out. And it's easy for me to step through, but I can't see hardly anything to pick in all of it. I'm going down, and this is some of my best picking area too. I'm going down and looking through it. I got to kneel down because they got it all on the ground. There's berries down here. Now look behind me so I don't smash a new plant. And they take out some of the new stuff that's growing up in the old stuff. Next season, I want to try a new trick. I'm going to save up some stinky stuff, and I'm going to come out here in the patch the week before picking, before it peaks, like that first day when I get 1 container, because there's not a lot to pick yet. And I'm going to come get my stinky stuff and spread it around the patch. And I say stinky stuff, and I mean human piss, because sometimes the scent will chase them away. And I'm going to see if I can't keep them out of the patch for a week while I pick the peaked berries. Then they can come in and do this wreck it deer. Because this area they clobbered, I'm not getting a lot out of. And I hear one of them somewhere too, blowing air. They must hear me. Oh, I should bring the camera over here. They've really done a number. I know it's not entirely human because humans don't lay down and make little beds that I can clearly see on the ground. I can see where they made their little beds at. So I know it was them. I think they just jump in and walk over this stuff somewhat. And I think this afternoon it's time for the frozen berry assessment, because I've probably got about 10 more containers in the other patch. I reevaluate this patch. I don't know how many containers is left here. I'll be lucky today if I get 4 containers by 2 o'clock. And I'm not sure how close it is. I've discovered that while I'm picking berries, if I eat some, I don't get as tired. I don't wear down as quick. And it makes it harder to tell what time it is. Because usually if I'm just out hiking, if I'm used to 2 hours, about 2.5 hours, I know I've been out 2.5 hours. But when I'm picking berries, that don't necessarily happen. One day I was out, I felt like it was about coming up on 3 hours, and I've been out here nearly 5 hours. Wow, this was such a nice, neat, I can't say organized patch, but it was easier to get into. Wasn't all flattened out. Some of it I can just lift up and still pick. Yeah, this is deer. They've broken through the things. They probably jumped through it. Well, I'll just go around and pick what I can and see what there is. I don't think the next trip up here I'm going to get many more than I get this time, though. It's time to hit up the middle patch and then go out to the further away places. In fact, if I'd have started the morning here, I'd probably be headed for another patch earlier, about 12. I'd have gone elsewhere. Had I seen their damage, I would have made that decision, but I'm here. And I got that big patch in the middle to pick again. I think it'll still have some good picking. It had a lot of berries left to go right. Somebody got a doggy barking. Just working my way around. I know I'm off the camera now. I'm up the hill. Picking what I can out of the mess left by probably one of the big groups. One time I saw 14 deer up on the other hill. They come through. That's a lot of deer for one area. Usually there's 2 or 3 together. Sometimes there's 5 or 6. But I know there's a big clan of them back in here somewhere comes through. I don't think they're here all the time. But they occasionally show up, and this might have been them. So what we'll do is get out the berries that we can, whatever's available. And I'm thinking this is one of my last, I can't even get some of this stuff loose. It's so matted in. This is probably my last picking day here if I get anything significant. There's berries left, a lot of them are smaller. I've got all the big juicy berries. They grow in different sizes. And the later picking, especially the July picking, a lot of times isn't the bigger berries. So what I'll do next time, I'll go pick the big patch. And a couple times after that, I might go further out and check the other patches. I don't know today.
I was thinking, I think so.
I think Bluetooth is out. So I think I found the edge of the Bluetooth. Thus, I am setting that aside and you'll be on Nature Cam. Enjoy. I'll be occasionally in and out. I still got to go back in the middle. Yeah, the Bluetooth just goes away, so I'm up the hill a ways picking right now. I got to work my way around. I'll be back in a bit. Enjoy. Just this little chunk of it. I'll come back into that area right there at some point. I got to pick more of that. But for now, I got to go up here. I got to go down that way too. Oh wait, while I'm here, I have a strange feeling I'm not going to get too many more containers today. 1 o'clock. Yeah, I'm going to do about another 50 minutes. Hey, Hedge Wizard. Edge of the blade. Worry about the edge of the Bluetooth, yeah. Yeah, the Bluetooth cuts you off faster than the steel will. around. My camera's still hot. Or working rather, less than hot. Oh, looks like we're still live. Hey, I'm here. Finishing up the pick. Circled completely around. Yeah, this is the Dr. Livingston, I presume. I see you there, hiker. Did you say something new? Chatting with my bots, my body boys. I call them boys. I know there's no gender at all. Oh, man. One little spot left. Not. I'm thinking I barely got 2 containers out of the rest of this pick. Let's see what you had to say. Cats! Thanks for showing up, cats. Having a lurk, watching the nature cam. It says I'm still live. I'll count that a blessing. So, generally when I come up here, I got about, hey, hiker. Yeah, not too much. Generally when I come up here, I got about 3 good days. Well, I see a little orange and green mush. Maybe it's a tomato. Yeah, we're here. That's a good thing. Consider that a blessing too. But generally when I come up here, I get about 3 good pickings. Maybe like 4 containers, 6 containers, 5 containers. But what I see out there right now, either the animals beat me to it when I didn't come up 2 days ago. Yeah, I got like 3 containers today max. That's only going to probably make a pie and a half. Maybe in 2 days. But if it's going to be like this next season, yeah, 3 containers, that's it. I might have to do like 3 days in a row or something. I might have to rejig. I might have to rethink. I don't know what to do with that. I'm going to take this off and finish it. This isn't the thing I thought it was. Bot boys. I say boys, you're just a bit of electronics stream element bot. What did I rename you? Maximilian. But what's our 2 o'clock? Stopping them, 85%. Cool. Let's see if I can get us back down the hill here. We'll take this cold pack off. That worked out pretty good. Worked out pretty good. I'll take you over here and see. You can see what I found. I kind of want this for the future reference. Yeah, it's a little warm at this point. The cold pack worked though. It kept the camera going. So let me, got video, got audio. So my path goes in, and it's not going to be easy to tell in here. It goes in about like this. This big circle right here is the kind of place like a deer likes to make to lay down. Over here, we got a bit of smashy out through here. Now it's possible that humans came in on my path here and did this. But if I had to look at it and use all my knowledge, I'd say deer did this. They just tromped down over whatever they wanted. And I can't even get maybe a third of the berries out of that. They're buried under all of this. And this smash is here. There's one over there. And there's a little bit up there. And this right through here was a really good spot. And I hardly got any berries out of it. And there's not a lot of berries left. We got some of them died, like right here. I don't know what happened there. They just died out. But one of the best areas is up around the corner here. And just going up this way, here's where I yeeted some wood out of my patch. Just going up this way, and I'll probably see a couple berries on this. Always happens. Just going up this way. If a human went through here and did this, I would think that there would be more devastation along this route, right through this area. There's a tree under there that'd have a hard time getting over because I climbed up out through it and had a hard time, but it just doesn't look like the kind of yeah, I found some berries. It just doesn't look like the kind of devastation a human coming in would do. And deer leave things like this little smash down here where they lay at night. They make a little bed. And over in here looked like little beds, and right over here is one of the best areas, and they flattened that out and I hardly got anything out of it. And there's a lot of red berries left up here. But from past picking experience, I'd say if I came up here a couple more times, I'm going to be lucky to get 2 containers for 3 hours. So what I'll probably do next time is go to the other, oh, I'm losing my jiggy. Go to the other patch. I'll go to the other big patch and see if I can tamp this down without putting it back through my shirt. I'll go to the other patch and see what it's like there, and then probably check out some of the further away patches, but I'd say this is pretty much picked out. Now let's do an assessment and make sure. While I got shade, let's see, walking stick, nippers, Swiss Army knife, tea bottle, water bottle, cooler pack, honey. Wherever my watermelon went, I'll have finished those. Looks like I got everything. I got the battery pack. I got my glasses container. I like that up in case I want to take them off. Yep, we got it all. But I got 3 containers here, 11, 12, 1, 2 for 3 hours. That's not the best equation. I like at least one every half hour is pretty good. And that's kind of at this point in the season what I expected. But with the deer smashy and not being here 2 days ago, the animals, I can tell where they got to eat some. So I didn't get as many. And I don't really think during the main season it's not worth it to come back up here. Couple 3, 4 pickings away, I might come back up here and see what's ripe, what's available. Once the rest of it's done, I'll come back up and see what I can get. But I pretty much went around everywhere I could, except I figured where the deer smashed it, for me to go in and pick that, I would have been spending a good hour there and hardly gotten anything. So I went and picked the rest of it in deference to actually having something to take back. 2 containers instead of a half a container, or 1 container instead of a half a container. Ooh, except for these right here. I'll pick this little bunch. There's a nice little bunch right here. Even they look like this. There's not too many of those left up here. And there are some to ripen though. I'm going to go down the mid path since it's 2 o'clock. And I'm going to look through a couple of things. We got a wild rose bush trying to gate the path off. Not a troll bridge, buddy. Oh boy. This path has been turned into a tunnel by a tree falling over and bringing down grapevines. Turning it into a tunnel. And then it probably grew across. This all grow in a week. This is really getting into the jungle here. I figure one of these trees fell over. The nice thing about wild grapevine though, it doesn't have claws in it. It can't scratch you up too bad. No thorns, no the 1-inch things the crab apples have. So all I really have to do is cut my hole and push way through it. And the deer will keep pushing through here. The deer will keep putting holes in this. Wow. That just covered that. And I've noticed a lot of the blackberries aren't, I don't know if it's the lack of rain, but they're just these tiny little things. They're not getting bigger. And there's a lot of them. But if they don't get bigger than that, I think the picking's going to be kind of sparse. I mean, there's tons of them everywhere, but they're not big. The raspberries got their rain in May, beginning of June, but then it dried out. Now, what are you growing through here? I'm trying to take out this wild rose bush that wants to come across my path. I found you. Up here is kind of an area that's poison ivy land. Right in here, these guys right here are really thick. I should probably take the path out sometime and make sure it's clear. But I kind of think that's it for the up the hill picking. I kind of think that clears it. A couple more containers, maybe 4 more if I go up there every time, but it's hardly worth it just for 4 containers total. It helps if you stay on the right path. A little bit more clearage. Old stuff comes across it occasionally. New stuff. The dead things that fall out of the trees. And my boots are full of junk. They don't go tight against my pants anymore. They're to strap around the outside kind. And they let junk in. So I just walk on plant junk. As long as it's not thorns, that's when I stop and clean them out.
And I feel like I had about a 5-hour hike. It's only been 3.5. A week ago, I had a 5-hour hike. It felt like it was only 3.5. Today, I have the opposite. And I'm trying to find my revised path through here. There's a little patch over there, but I don't feel like checking it. Might have a little bit on it. It's not a very big patch. I just invented a new trail. I say invented, I just blazed a new trail through there. See, here's another area where it's all flattened down and cleared out. Right in here. Right this. I think this is a little deer stop off. No affiliate yet. I want to throw monies. Yeah, I'd catch some monies for this. But I'm not concerned. As long as the path home is reasonably clear. I got some patches over here to look at. People are coming by tomorrow, so I saved the closest patch in case friends want to come out and see a little bit of picking. It's a pretty decent patch. I might be able to pick a couple containers. At this point, I'm kind of tired, so slow and steady is the best way to go. Can't try to move too quick. Clear some of the junk. The nice thing about stopping around too is I'll be able to have the rest of my day schedule be normal instead of picking to like 3 or 4. Whenever I get back, it takes me about a half hour to get out of everything and get ready to eat. Grapevine reached out and took my glasses off. There is a little patch over here. Let's poke in and see what we got. Besides tall weeds. Yeah, a lot of these side patches, much of the time they don't have much, and I can see a bunch that have already been taken by animals. First come, first serve. You don't show up early, you don't get a lot. A little bit here. I'll pick a few of these. I'll drop one on the ground. I'm not looking for it. I'll pick a few of these. It'll boost it up a little bit. This is my snack tonight. This bunch right here. And I just threw them down in the bucket. Well, they're in the bucket. They're not on the ground. I threw them at the container and they rolled right around the outside. Eat one. I gotta search for the thing. I think that's about it. There's a couple more vines down in here, but there's nothing on them. I like the rena bird. The rena bird kind of keeps me company. I don't know if the bird likes me though. What he's complaining about might be me, but I like him. Oh, that's that. Oh, there's one. There's two down here. Two big ones. two big ones, and we turn around, look underneath one time for the couple that I missed not looking underneath, and I think we go home. Yeah, it helps to look twice. You miss a few berries every time. Pretty soon you're missing a couple containers. Get the stick, because I set it down sometimes and forget what I did with it. Because now we're almost down the hill. Oh, the vine got the camera. Wow, my boots are full of junk. I'm just dancing on it, standing on it. I have a feeling there's interesting blackberries are almost ripe. I'm looking at one right here. Almost. Of course, you're on my path. Those are all right. They're not the best. I wonder where the good blackberries are. That's the thing about into raspberry picking season. I'm lucky if I know where the blackberries are at. Okay. Camera screen's getting darker. I think it's heating up, but I'm almost back. On the other side of this here area, I have another patch I want to look at. If I cut through the field, I'll be home quick. And I'm thinking that might be the order of the day, rather than walking all the way back up the hill just to walk down by my neighbors. Oh, look at you, burdock. I don't want you under here. You're on my tunnel trail. And I've got to do something about this, but not right now. My walk upright tunnel has become a punch down tunnel. Not as much fun. All right. I don't think I can go through here, but I can glance at this patch. This patch is a little bit behind. There might be some picking in here, but I haven't seen a lot in this patch year on and year out. All right, I can't go down through there. Okay. Maybe I can go up this way. This is the thing. You don't come through the patches, the animals come and eat the stuff or it falls off. So you gotta hit it while it's hot. Get them while they're ripe. They first show up or you don't get your turn. I suppose if I met someone that was interested, I could train them and they could come with me. We couldn't really pick together though. We'd have to head out to different patches. There's a little bit in here. I think I'll save that for the possible tomorrow pick in the other patch. Give me a stick. And I'll get down here. And, oh, I think the deer have been down in there. There's not a lot in this little patch. It does even less good than that other one I just looked at. Oh, I see some berries though. I see some. Not a lot. Some of them I just leave for the animals. Because they're not worth that much to go into. Down in the cool area, the clouds have come up. We'll go back a little ways. The easy path, the low bottom of the hill path that goes home. Oh, that's a nice breeze. It's one of those Coke Slurpee breezes. It feels cool and refreshing. Either that or that cold bottle of water I got in the fridge. That's going to feel really good too. So 1, 4, 8. What did I do 2 days ago? 6? Let's see. Monday. Today's Friday. Wednesday, Monday, Saturday. Saturday was a good day. Was that the 8? I know it went 1, 4, 8. Oh, maybe we'll stop here and empty these boots out. They're really clogged up. I got to do it somewhere. This is one of my favorite spots. I've been provided a seat. This tree's actually alive. I look like I'm still alive on the feed. Oh, wow. Let's see if we can have an example of... Oh, there might be. There's a thorn in there. Ow, ow, ow. I don't know if it'll focus on it, but that was in the foot. I don't know how I didn't notice that. You're probably not going to see all this junk that comes out. It's just raining junk. Yeah, that was a little painful. Not showing feet off on purpose. I just want my boots cleaned out. I guess I could turn the camera around. Yeah, it's not really a big thorn, but it could be a painful thorn. I think it just got stuck in there. Oh, wow, that's a lot of junk. Well, I won't have to do it back at the house. I think it's time for some new boots. They just opened a boot barn where I run. I might have to stop in there after this season. So, what did I miss? Yeah, they're all big. Goodies when? I don't know. Thanks for stopping by, cats. Much appreciated. Yeah, everything in its time. There's a time for every season. Time for berry picking right now. And a time for this walk back. I might close the stream out up here at my juncture. Pretty much the end of the hike, if I can pop out into the field and head home. Yeah, I'm not going all the way up the hill. And I got the close by patches right on the other side of this, right where the sunlight is, for possible picking tomorrow. Well, let's see. Field, all right. That's all you're gonna see. Field. but I'm headed this way. And maybe my neighbor who's out picking up sticks. One, 4, 8, 6. I think I got 6. That's 18, 19, 22. I think I got 3 picking days left at more than a container. I'll see tomorrow in the big patch. I might be able to get another 10 or 12. He's doing the Eggman thing. Yep. Oh, you found my bucket lid I lost. I stopped and said, I don't got a bucket lid. And I came back to the edge and didn't see it in the field, so I kept going. Thanks. Saved me the bucket. It's getting a little sparse already. I don't know what's up.
No, it's a lot.
A lot and sparse?
Lot. You said, what was that word you used?
Sparse. They're thinning out in one spot. Well, the deer went in and did some damage, and I think the birds beat me to it.
The berries are getting a little sparse.
Yep.
See?
Yep.
So is my eggs. I only got 3 instead of 4.
Huh. Out of 5 chickens, so
Yeah.
need some more chickens. It's a nice looking egg, though.
That poor chicken that laid that egg, I said, damn, girl. No wonder
Yep.
I hear all that clucking going on in there.
Yep, I'm going to go shut down my thing and relax and eat lunch and then try to stay cool the rest of the day because I feel really hot.
I believe you.
You're overheated.
Yeah, well, you was probably in the sun instead of in the shade.
Half and half, yeah. And I started out, I should have done the sun first thing. I did the shade first thing.
Oh, no.
And then I went and did the sun. And then I got back in the shade, but it didn't cool off after that.
No. I sit in the shade at the picnic table.
Yeah, when it gets really hot. That's the way to do it, but I got to go pick the berries where they're at.
Yeah.
Well,
How many did you get?
only 3.
Only 3, 4?
Yeah. Well, the deer went in and wrecked two of the best parts, and you can't hardly get anything out from under there. So I went and picked what I could. So I might have got another container.
They'll go in to an area and just make it.
They lay
feel
down.
safe, yeah, and lay
They
down.
lay down because nothing could get in through that thick stuff.
That's why they do it.
They make a bed, and then you can try and lift the stuff up, but you can't get it all. I get what's on the top. Well, have all the blessings. I'm going to go chill down.
Slow down, Will.
I got some cold water. It's going to taste good. Got my bucket lid back. I must have dropped it leaving the yard. My neighbor's a good guy. He's a Vietnam vet. He made a sacrifice for us that a lot of people will not understand, probably ever. Maybe one day they might, but not here. Oh, I wanted to promo the garden. The garden's looking great. Them tomatoes growing like crazy. I see tomato blossoms. I'll have them. I got tomatillo blossoms. This thing right here is a tomatillo. And I got some peppers out there. I see some peppers on that pepper, and all the peppers got peppers. I got cayenne, lettuce, and onions. The cukes are growing. They got blossoms. There'll be cucumbers pretty soon. I watered the heck out of it last night. So it's doing really good. Catty cam. Somebody put the catty in. Tally. It's Tally cam. Oh, meow. Meow. You don't meow very often. She gave me 3 meows yesterday when I got home from running, so I call her 3 meow now. Girly cat, you don't want to stay in camera. Come on, little girly. You can't stop too many times. I got to keep moving now. Okay. Get a stone rolling downhill. You want to keep it going. You don't want it to stop. Okay. Whew. The only thing I need to put here is my stick. Everything else can go into the house. But I'm going to unjug this. I might make some salsa. I'm not really sure what to do with tomatillos, but I saw the seeds and I'm like, hey, there she is. Hey, Brocat. Brocat. She waits for me to get back. She watches me leave. I went hiking one day and I left nature cam up. And as I left, she followed me slowly through the yard to the edge of the yard, and it was really sad looking. I didn't do that nature cam again. All right, let's see. I want to go over here and look at the mobile twitch. I don't think you can do as much stuff with mobile twitch, can you? Oh, okay. Yeah, I use hot peppers mostly on my tacos, or I just eat them. Cats, thank you for the follow that I just see. Yeah, I don't think I can do the normal things. So, with the tree, the big old tree is my backdrop. That's it for this stream. I don't seem to have the ability to do a raid. I'm not taking it in the house and trying to do it on the studio. I'm going to call it here. Thank you for coming along. It was a great berry picking, even for 3 containers, because I'm going to eat half of that stuff, and maybe the other half will be a pie. So we'll call that good. Be seeing you.